Kia Stinger had a good run from 2018 to 2023. Hey guys, welcome to Chris Mack. In this video, I have my final review on this 2023 Kia Stinger GT2 all-wheel drive. I'm going to show you around this vehicle, show you the various features, take it on a drive, and give you guys my final verdict. But let's go ahead and get into this video. You know what? Let's do remote start this time. Hold down the button. Every time. Let's get into this video, shall we? Let's go. Looking on the outside of the 2023 Kia Stinger GT2 all-wheel drive, this is your key fob right here. You do have lock, unlock, as well as a trunk release and a panic button with remote engine start right there. This does have the new Kia logo right there, which did debut for 2022 model year. But looking a little bit more at the outside of the Stinger, as equipped, this vehicle is just over $50,000. This one has just over 800 miles on the clock. You can see this is dressed in a ceramic silver exterior for $495. You do have full LED lighting, as this is the GT2 fully loaded package with all-wheel drive. LED turn signals are down below with their LED daytime running lights, as well as LED low and high beams right there. The Stinger did debut for the 2018 model year, and I am hearing that 2023 will be the last year for this vehicle. You have the full suite of driver assist technology right there with a front view camera. I do like the sporty front end diffuser right there, very aggressive and unique. Couple more styling cues. You can see the hood vents up there, which aren't functional but make it look a little bit more aggressive. Here's a 3/4 view for you guys right there. Boom. Speaking of wheels, these are 19-inch wheels with a black and silver finish, wrapped in 225 with tires for the front and 255s for the rear. You do have Brembo performance braking with red brake calipers. This vehicle is based on a Genesis G70, and the wheelbase is about 3 inches longer than that vehicle. Powerful mirrors with blind spot information, as well as side view camera with keyless entry for the front door handles and a panoramic glass roof up top. Gas tank is also on the driver's side as well. Coming around to the rear, you can tell this is where you really see the facelifted design, which is debut for the 2022 model year of the Stinger. We have the full LED light bar right there with LED turn signals and reverse lights right there. Also with the facelift, you do get this new valved exhaust system, so you get a little bit more of a throatier and angrier sound when you are on the road and on throttle. I'll show you guys that once we hit the road. The slight revised rear fascia. Get a 3/4 view for you guys of the rear. Boom. Show you the trunk capacity. The tailgate is powered, and you will find 23.3 cubic feet of space. You do have some LED illumination over here on this side. The seats do fold down in a 60/40 fashion. Under here, you do have a temporary spare tire, all the tools that you would need. You can easily get a whole bunch of stuff right there. You do also have this cargo cover right here to hide all the stuff that you do have back here. The tailgate is powered. You can hit that button right there to close it. This does also have the smart trunk function, so if you stand behind the vehicle for 3 seconds with the key, it'll open up the rear trunk automatically. I do like the Stinger badge right there. Nice cursor design. But let me show you guys under the hood of the Stinger, as this is a performance sports sedan. For 23, the Stinger is available in 2 engine offerings. You have the base 2.5 liter turbo, which makes 300 horsepower, but then you have this upgraded engine, which is a 3.3 liter twin turbo V6. Makes 368 horsepower, which is 3 more thanks to the valved exhaust, and 376 pound-foot of torque. You get 17 in the city, 24 on the highway, and 20 combined. Vehicle weight is just over 4,000 pounds. Does go through an 8-speed automatic transmission for all 4 wheels. You can also get a rear-wheel drive version if you do want to have just a little bit more shenanigans on the road. But let me show you guys the interior of the Stinger. Boom. Sitting behind myself with the seat mostly all the way back, let's talk a little bit more about rear seat accommodations. I have about 3 to 4 inches of legroom. As far as headroom goes, with the sloping roof, I have about an inch, maybe an inch and a half of headroom, which honestly isn't too bad. Definitely is a little bit more spacious than the Genesis G70. Storage right there. You do have some air vents, a 12-volt charger, as well as a USB-A port right there just for charging. We have 3-stage heated outboard seats for both sides and automatic windows. All the materials are soft touch, and then it's hard plastic down below. Here's a quick look to the front cabin. You can also see this moonroof does let in a lot of light, and you have LED illumination up top with a center console with 2 cup holders. But let's hit the cockpit in the Stinger where all of the action happens. Looking at the door panels of the Stinger, you can see same materials up front, all soft touch right here with your window controls right there. You can also power fold the mirrors right there. You have 2-person memory up top and a little bit of this aluminum trim right there. All the materials are soft touch with stitching. Even right here is padded. But looking at the seats, these do have a multi-way power seat. It's about 16 different ways. You can move the waterfall cushions right there. Bottom support, back support, a 4-way lumbar support. You can also move in the bolstering right there. You can open and close that in this button right there. The steering wheel is power tilt and telescoping. Looking over here, you have a couple of shortcut buttons for your clutch illumination, lane keeping assist, trunk release, as well as gas tank opener right there with your fuse box down below. It does have aluminum gas and brake pedals. Stepping inside of the Stinger, which honestly is a nice place to be, and it's pretty good as a luxury vehicle once you get over the badge. But looking over here, you do have your light controls as well as your wiper controls on this side. A 3-spoke steering wheel right here, which is heated. I'll show you guys the heated function a little bit later. You do have aluminum paddle shifters behind that. Over here on this side is how you control your telematic displays as well as your displays right here for the central display. So let me go ahead and talk about that. But let me put on some AC because it's hot. There we go, that's better. But I'm looking in front of you, you do have a 7-inch cluster right here. You can just button right here to configure and change your various different screens. So you can put up your sport gauges right there, or performance gauges, your driving information, timer, heading, your lane keeping assist, or speed, as well as your tire pressure right there. You can cycle through all your various different menus using this button and toggling up and down. Over here is your adaptive cruise control or smart cruise control settings with lane keeping assist with steer assist. We will try all of that out on the road. Up top, you do have a clear, crisp head display right there. So you do have your speed as well as the speed limit in the area and lane keep information. Looking over here at the infotainment, which is a 10.25-inch UVO display or Kia Connect infotainment display. Let's talk a little bit more about how that functions. So going back, this is basically your home page right here. You can scroll over right here to get up some of your shortcut preset buttons. So you do have navigation. So let's try a quick navigation test, see how good that is. You can see right there the navigation is very quick and easy to use as well as responsive. Now personally, I would turn off the beep because it kind of does get a little annoying. But you do have also Apple CarPlay, which you do have to wire. But let's go ahead and try a quick audio test to see how good it is. It has a 15-speaker Harman Kardon sound system.
Let's go. Yeah, I'm like an addict, do I gotta have it. I ain't even playing, got a really bad habit. If it moves, gotta grab it, fuse like a magnet. Lose, won't have it till I'm doomed in a casket. I ain't playing, got a weird mind. If you work 8 hours, I'ma work 9. If the shit tastes sour, you should taste mine.
As you can see, the 15-speaker Harman Kardon sound system has a lot of bass as well as sound quality, and it's pretty good in its stock form. You can, of course, if you're a little bit more of an audiophile, you can increase like the bass as well as the treble and stuff like that inside the screen if you want just a little bit more. But honestly, I think it's just fine and it's right in line with the segment. You have voice memos right there, their climate functions, valet mode, HD radio data right there, so it'll show you like basically your traffic as well as the weather in your area. and so on, as well as fuel pricing. Over here you have your radio functions. Does have a AM, FM, Sirius XM radio. Let me show you guys that real quick. Turn that down so we'll get demonetized. But you do also have your various different modes right there to change the sound system. Now, as you can see right there, personally, I would leave it in on stage. Has the best sound quality, as well as HD radio right there. That's probably the best sound settings that have in the Stinger. The 15-speaker Harman sound system. The on stage has the best amount of sound quality, bass, and everything. Really does give a warm feeling inside of the cabin. We do have the audio blasting, Sirius XM radio, and so on. You have your media connections right there, your Kia Connect, your setups right here. Now looking at your setup page, you can configure everything. So going under your vehicle settings, you can change and configure all your driver assist technology between your lane keep, blind spot, the attention warning, parking sensors, driver convenience, and so on. Drive modes right here. Looking at your drive modes, you do have your sport mode with the bolstering, so it'll give you like a nice hug when you are driving more spiritedly. Coasting to help save gas mileage, and then you can have a whole drive mode alert right there, so it'll tell you which mode you're changing. You also have a custom drive mode which you can configure, so you can basically put your powertrain between eco, comfort, and sport, your steering between comfort and sport, suspension between comfort and sport, as well as your all-wheel drive between eco, comfort, and sport. Active sound design, so you can have the enhanced sound. We will be playing that a little bit more once we hit the road to see how much of a change or difference that it does make inside of the cabin. Your head-up display controls right there. You can change the display, change the height, rotation, as well as the brightness, and your various different content settings right there. Cluster controls right there. You can change the various different themes and so on. Navigation settings, your sound settings right here, where you can go right here to make it a little bit more in depth. We're going to turn off that beep because it is getting annoying, like I said a second ago. And you have the same stuff just like in your vehicle settings and so on. General settings right there, your screen layout. You can change the display as far as the brightness and different themes and so on. Do like these 3 air vents right here, which does let pretty good air in as far as airflow. I like how you just turn it right there. It's like a nice tactile sound when you do turn that. Push button start right here on this side. Looking down here, you do have a couple of shortcut buttons. So you have your volume on and off for the infotainment display, map, navigation, a preset favorite button so you can actually configure how you have that button set up, hazards with your radio function right there, media as well as setup button. You can also use this as your tune knob or for your navigation to zoom in or out. Down here you do have a dual zone climate control. Looking even further down, you do have a 12-volt charger right there, as well as a USB-A port right here. This is how you connect to the Android Auto and Apple CarPlay, as well as a Qi wireless charging pad down below. So let's try that out. Boom, there we go. You see my phone is charging up with no problem at all. Down here is where your gear shifter is. So you push for park, foot on the brake, push that for reverse. You do have a 360 camera with various different views. You can change all the various different settings right there. The camera is under the mirrors on each side. You can also put it when you're in drive. So it'll show you a front view, with front views for the tires up front and so on. You see right there, you have trajectory lines both front and rear. And you basically push for park. A automatic parking brake right here with your auto hold function as well as traction. This is how you can configure your different drive modes right here using this toggle. So you can change between smart, which is basically adaptive, eco, maximum fuel economy, comfort, which is a nice middle ground between sport and eco, full sport, and then custom mode like I talked about a second ago, which is configurable. Also down here you do have your 3-stage heated and cooled front seats with your heated steering wheel, parking sensors both front and rear, a shortcut button right there for your surround view or 360 camera, auto start stop defeat right there. Do like this aluminum trim right here around the center console, very sporty-esque. But up top you do have a garage door opener with LED illumination, your Kia Connect functions right there. If you do have like SOS and so on right there for your telematic displays, and you do have a moonroof control right here. So let me show you guys that real quick. Sunroof definitely does let a lot of light in. Even though I do wish it was a little bit bigger because you can't really get it like too much inside of the back seat, but it's mostly like designed for the front seat. But let's go ahead and take the Stinger for a drive and see how she does. Let's go. We are behind the wheel of the 2023 Kia Stinger GT2 all-wheel drive. And this might be the final model year of the Stinger, so I want to go ahead and show you guys one final full review. go back to the review. Let's speak a little bit more about visibility at the front, rear, and sides. I can see very good over the hood as well as out the side mirrors. And even out the back, despite it having a sloping rear roof, it is pretty good. Now, we did start out in smart mode, which is adaptive, so it'll go based upon your throttle inputs. It'll switch over between like comfort, eco, and then if you floor like with that Seat Corvette, it'll go right into sport mode. Now, if you live under a rock and you don't know that this vehicle is also based on the Genesis G70 platform, so even if this vehicle does get discontinued after this year, you can still buy the same exact vehicle with just a little bit more of a luxurious interior, known as the G70, but the back seats are just a little bit smaller. You see right there, you do have the coasting functions right there. Now, speaking a little bit more, you can see you do have this clear curves head-up display in front of me, which does have a lot of speed information as well as your driver assist technology for lane keeping assist, lane change assist, as well as the speed limiting area. So it's using the camera up top, it's scanning the road, and does a pretty good job of that. I'd also like with this facelifted version is that you do get these performance gauges right here. So I have my oil pressure right there, as well as the pound for the torque and the PSI to the turbo. Put up your lap timer and other various information right there, but I'm going to basically leave it into speed mode right here so you can see the speedo. But just driving around the vehicle, the cabin is pretty quiet, smooth, and calm. It does have a active sound design, so it'll enhance the sound inside of the cabin. So if I throw it into sport and I go largest, sounds pretty good. Basically sounds the same as before, but it does have just a little bit more of a sound enhancer thanks to the valve exhaust. Has just a little bit more of a angry tone. But I'm going to go ahead and insert a clip of how it sounds from the outside. Alright, let's go ahead and hit the back road. But you guys can hear in the sound clip, it definitely does have a little bit more of a enhanced sound when it comes to the exhaust system versus the pre-facelift versions. Once you do put this vehicle in the sport mode, you can feel the chassis tightens up a bit more, the steering gets a little bit more. In that 3.3 liter twin turbo V6 with 368 horsepower on tap, has a smooth power curve, just builds. Now torque is the same, but thanks to that valved exhaust system, it does add about 3 more horsepower versus the pre-facelift version. I don't know if you guys can really like feel it, but on those it sounds better. So we'll go ahead and leave up the sound enhancer or the active sound design. We'll go ahead and leave that in largest change and push it on this back road and see how she does. So I'll be back in a second once we get a clear piece of road. 2, 1. Sitting right here at the stop sign in the Stinger, you can see the auto start stop is very smooth and refined. You can also deactivate it right here in the center console. But I do want to start out with a launch and see how good this Stinger launches. Now 0 to 60 is about 4.7 seconds, so let's go ahead and try that out. To activate launch control, you got to turn all the stability and traction off. Slam the brake and gas. Now it's 60 in like no time. This thing goes crazy on the back road. Let me try another acceleration. This time I'm not going to do launch control. I'm just going to floor it from a standstill. But I got to tell you guys, the way this thing just handles on the back road is just crazy. For me, $50,000. And when you put it into sport mode, it'll go a little bit more rear bias with the all-wheel drive system. You can really feel it. But as we catch up the traffic, like in no time, let's talk a little bit more about the driving dynamics on the back road. Now, the chassis is phenomenal. This vehicle feels planted and sporty and ready to go. Now, this does have the all-season tires on it. I highly recommend if you want to do a little bit more spirited driving, throw in some summers inside, like better climate weather conditions. And the brakes aren't too bad either, the Brembo brakes. I do have a problem though in the G70, like they fade like crazy, so I probably would upgrade the brakes if you're doing this a little bit more spirited driving. And this camera mirror right here is sick. I love that feature right there in all these Hyundai, Kia, and Genesis models. Highly recommend that a lot of vehicles in this industry definitely do use this feature because it is actually very helpful. Now, as far as dynamics go, I think sport mode with traction off is probably the best amount of character that you can get because it'll allow just a little bit of slip. And if you look at the G70, which does have Sport Plus, unlike this vehicle, which just has standard Sport, Sport Plus is like perfect. It really does just allow a bit of slip and allows you to play with this vehicle as far as dynamics go. This thing just goes. But I'll be back in a second once the brakes and everything cools down to talk a little bit more about this vehicle. Now, as we cruise a little bit more and not do as much spirited driving, let's talk about how the Stinger does on the highway. Now, honestly, I'm impressed with how quiet and calm the cabin is. Right now, we're going about 70 miles an hour. You really don't hear that much wind noise outside, and it's actually pretty nice. Definitely is in par with like the luxury cars in the segment, like a C-Class, A4, even like a 3 Series as far as cabin noise goes. Those are like they do have a little more backseat legroom, which is a little bit better, and it's on a bigger entry in the segment, more towards like a TLX or even like Lexus ES, some things like that in the segment. But yeah, as dynamics go, I have to say this chassis has a lot of balance, is willing to move. Now you can feel a couple of things that you can feel as far as cons of this chassis dynamics is that when you like snap the back end around, the front and rear aren't connected, and also too the Brembo brakes on that back road, they were smoking like crazy, so they really do give up easy. This vehicle is about 4,000 pounds. I'll show you guys the adaptive cruise control while we have this Jeep right here in front of me. Or we'll just wait until after the light. But yeah. Of course the light want to turn red. Come on, light. I'm going to go ahead and throw it back into smart mode though. So let's talk a little bit more about this vehicle. I'm trying to talk so we don't get demonetized with that guy with that motorcycle playing all that music, but just driving around in smart mode, out of the boost, under 3,000 RPM, you can basically keep up with traffic with no problem at all. As far as the driver assist goes, with the adaptive cruise control, it is very easy to use. You can see right there, it's following the vehicle in front of me using the camera up top, and does a pretty good job of that, all the driver assist technology. As far as lane keeping assist, it is good. It does have steer assist. You can use the button right here, basically pull you back into your lane. It does a good job of that as well, but it does have a small like ping pong effect when you are driving, but other than that, it's very effective at what it does. Go ahead and throw that adaptive cruise back on. So you have up to 4 following distances. You can go 4, 3, 2, all the way down to 1. You see right there, they're putting on brakes. We're gonna put on brakes. One thing I do wish that adaptive cruise control did have was a little bit more faster response. So right now we're at level 1. But yeah, as far as driver assist goes, just has the full suite. Adaptive cruise control, lane keeping assist, with steer assist, and blind spot information. You can see right there the vehicle comes in blind spot. It'll illuminate. You also do have automatic emergency braking. And its head-up display provides a lot of information. Yeah, it's not like on the German level when it comes to information, but it has just the right amount of info, not like an overload. But as we get a little bit closer to the dealership, I do want to talk a little bit more about my conclusion of what I think about the Stinger GT2, as this is the last review that I'm going to do on this vehicle, and I want it to be a phenomenal one. But let's talk a little bit more about what I think. So as far as the features go, this thing has plenty of content for the mid $50,000 range. I do also like the outside design, very unique, different on the road. And I think that's why people were actually bat an eye at this vehicle, because unlike a 3 Series or C-Class or even like an Audi A4, which looks the same generation to generation, this has a unique standout design. Especially, I know they had like orange, they had yellow colors. So I have to say, Kia honestly was really trying, and they did a pretty good attempt when making this Stinger. But unfortunately, most people couldn't get over the Kia badge, which is kind of a bummer, because this is a pretty good vehicle. Once you get a tune, they got pretty good tuning aftermarket support for these vehicles. You can get up to like 500, 600 horsepower, which this engine is pretty good once you get like a pretty hard, like a hard ECU tune basically. They also have a JB4 if you want to just put some plug and play and just unplug it when you go in for service. And it's not trackable, but yeah. As far as seat comfort goes, these do have the Napa leather seats, heated and cooled seats with heated steering wheel, and I have to say seat comfort is pretty good. I do like the bolstering though. When you are going in spirited driving, definitely tighten up and make you feel a little bit more sportier, like you're piloting a fighter jet. And that's basically the whole theme of the Stinger. The gear shifter right here, the air vents, everything just really feels like a fighter jet. And then the detonator key fob thing is so cool. But other than that, that is going to wrap up this video. And like I said before, I highly recommend checking out the Kia Stinger before they get discontinued, as this vehicle on paper is pretty good and on the road isn't bad either when it comes to sporty dynamics. Just a couple of small quirks and just tiny little issues that you can just fix, and this will be a pretty phenomenal sports sedan. You also do have pretty good leg room. And let's not forget the practicality in the trunk. 23.3 cubic feet of space in the back. You can literally go to like Best Buy or whatever and put a big flat screen TV in the rear. Now to close this video, I'm gonna give you guys one final pull. Yep, largest tank. Woo! But this is Chris signing out, and I'll see you guys in the next one.